Hi, my name is Mrs. Alexander, and today we're reviewing syllable division for vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel. Tell me about a syllable. Did you remember that a syllable is a word or part of a word that's made from the opening of the mouth? What opens your mouth as you say a syllable? That's right, a vowel does. Look at this word. How many sounded vowels are in this word? Do you see two vowels here? There are two sounded vowels. That means there are two syllables. I will put my finger under these. Now, let's look between those two vowels. I see two consonants. When there are two consonants between two vowels, do we divide between the two consonants? English words are usually accented on the first syllable, so we'll accent the first syllable. What kind of a syllable is that first syllable? I see a vowel and a consonant. That means it's closed. We'll mark it with a breve. And the second syllable, I also see a vowel and a consonant, so we'll code it with a breve as well. Let's read that first syllable together. Nap. Now let's read the second syllable. Kin. Let's read it, both syllables all together. Napkin. Great job. Let's look at some more words. Okay, in our first word here, what sounded vowels do you see? Do you see the A and the O? So remember, when we have two vowels, we look between them and we see there are two consonants. We divide between those two consonants. And in English words, they're usually accented on the first syllable, so we'll accent the first syllable. Now let's look at that first syllable. It's a closed syllable. Let's code it with a breve. The second syllable is also closed. And what do we code it with? That's right, a breve. Okay, read that first syllable to yourself. Read it with me. Mass. Now read the second syllable. And with me, caught. Let's read both parts together. Mass, caught. Great. Let's look at the next word. Do you see two sounded vowels? You see two E's here, and between them you see two consonants. Remember, we divide between those two consonants. Also remember that in English words we usually accent on the first syllable, so we'll accent that first syllable. The first syllable is what kind of a syllable? That's right, it's closed, and we're going to mark it with a breve. Now look carefully at the second syllable. I'm glad you didn't get tricked. That is a vowel R syllable, and we marked it with an arc and a tilde because it's not in the accented syllable. So let's read that first syllable, let. And the second one, ter. Read it together. Let ter. Good job. How many sounded vowels are in this word? That's right, there's two. You see the I here and another I here. Do you see a suffix at the end of this word or a final stable syllable? No, we don't. Let's look between the two vowels. What do you see? We see an N and an S, which are two consonants. So, what is the pattern? That's right, it's a vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel pattern. And usually when we have two consonants between two vowels, the word is divided between the two consonants. We place the accent mark on the first syllable because in most English words we accent the first syllable. So let's look at this first syllable. What kind of syllable is it? It's closed. Mark it with a breve. And let's look at the second syllable. What kind of syllable is it? Correct. It's also a closed syllable, and we'll also code it with a breve. Now, let's go ahead and read the first syllable without the accent. Let's read it together. In. Now, let's read the second syllable without the accent. Cyst. All right, now let's read both of the syllables together, and let's accent the first syllable when we say it. Insist. Does that sound like a word we know? Well, not quite. What happens if I move the accent to the second syllable? Now let's read it again with the accent on the second syllable. Insist. Does that sound more like a word we know? It does. That sounded better. So words with the vowel, consonant, consonant-vowel pattern usually divide between the two consonants. And we accent the first syllable usually in English words. But if that doesn't work, then try accenting the second syllable. Let's review the steps for syllable division. The first thing that we did was we counted the vowels. We looked to see if we had any suffixes or final stable syllables. The next thing, we put our fingers under the vowels. And then number 3, we count those consonants. The next step, we divide. We divided between those two consonants. In the next step, we accented. Remember, we usually accent the first syllable in English words, but if it doesn't make sense, then we have to try something else. But we always start by accenting the first syllable, and try that first. Then we're going to code our syllables. We'll read it without the accent, then you read it with the accent. And if you notice that it doesn't sound right, then the last thing that you'll do is that you will accent the last syllable. So let's try one more word. How many coded vowels do you see in this word? 1, 2. And what do you see between those two? You see two consonants, so we'll divide between those two consonants. Now, remember, we usually accent the first syllable, so we start there first. Let's go ahead and code that first syllable. It's a closed syllable, mark it with a brief. And the second syllable, did you say it's also a closed syllable? Good job. Code it with a brief as well. So let's read the first syllable without the accent. Un. And the second syllable, till. Now let's read it together with the accent. Until. Does that sound right? Not quite. Let's go ahead and move that accent and try it again. Now let's try it. Until. That sounds better. So remember, if it doesn't sound right on the first syllable, then try changing the accent to the second syllable and read it again. This is the vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel, where we accent the second syllable. So let's remember one thing we've talked about today. Words with the vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel pattern usually divide between two consonants. The accent usually falls on the first syllable, but it may fall on the second syllable. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.